All right, everybody, what is up? So, I just got sent this video, and the title definitely has me curious, and the person who made it also has me curious. So for those of you guys that don't know, there was this show, I believe it was on Comedy Central, it might have been on something else, but Comedy Central sounds right, called Adam Ruins Everything. It was about this guy named Adam, who would basically take a common idea, belief, misconception, whatever it may be. It was on True TV, okay. And he would debunk it. He would debunk it. And it would be very thorough, very, well-researched and backed up with data and facts and stuff like that. And as you can imagine, a show based around, fact-checking things and, studies and, data and citations and stuff like that, a very truth and facts-based show, is going to have a pretty liberal bias. And the show definitely did have a pretty liberal bias, naturally speaking. Reality itself has a liberal bias. So, the right grew to really hate Adam Ruins Everything. And it didn't help that he does kind of have that kind of liberal, smug, sort of personality that he puts forward. But, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. What people really got mad about, honestly, was just the fact that he was a progressive who is making very well-substantiated arguments for progressive values for the most part. And with that said, there were a lot of right-wing YouTubers that I even watched back in the day, particularly Rags, who would dunk on Adam Ruins Everything. I specifically remember watching a Rags video, dunking on Adam Ruins Everything's video about how gaming was a boys' club for a really long time. And looking back at that video more recently, all of Rags' arguments were just, girls could have always bought the games. Just because they moved the video games to the boys' aisle doesn't mean that girls couldn't have bought them. This is not an argument for how video games are a boys' club. There's no literal, hormone detector on the controller that keeps girls from playing the video game. And just the dumbest, most, yeah, that sounds right to me kind of arguments, But apparently, Adam Conover has started making YouTube videos. Apparently, he's a bread tuber now, and he's made a few videos now. And apparently, they're pretty good. So, this one in particular, called AI is BS, was sent by a chatter, and it's definitely piqued my interest. So let's go ahead and take a look. There will, of course, be a link to this video in the pinned comment down below. So, yeah, let's hop in.
So, artificial intelligence has had a weird month. Bing's new AI search engine started gaslighting its own users worse than an abusive boyfriend. While Google shares lost $100 billion after their new AI chatbot made errors so obvious, even a simple Google search would have spotted them. But despite this massive failure, Google's announced they plan to...
Yeah, the AI bots definitely have a ways to go, but to be fair, from my understanding, the more they get used, the more precise they get, right? The more people keep using them, and the more people that are using them, the better they're going to get.
Stuff AI into every goddamn product they make like it's cheese on a Pizza Hut menu. And they are not alone. Tech companies are suddenly promising to use AI to revolutionize everything from computer programming to customer service to therapy. Yeah, that's right. In a couple years, your insurance company's AI billing department will deny your claim to see your health plan's AI therapist. Wow, the future's gonna fucking suck. All of this has gotten people worried that a super intelligent AI is right around the corner, that the robots are gonna take over. Skynet is real and it's coming for us. Well, guess what? It's all bullshit. That fear is a tech bro fantasy designed to distract you from the real risk of AI. That a bunch of dumbass companies are lying about what their broken tech can do so they can trick you into using a worse version of things we already have, all while stealing.
Dude, there's no way ChatGPT is as good as people make it out to be. The first time I ever heard about ChatGPT was from one of those Sigma Bro YouTube shorts. It was yeah, man, I got ChatGPT to write code for a program for me, and now that code makes all my passive income. And it's no. But then I kept hearing about it, and kept hearing about it, and kept hearing about it, and it's now everybody talks about how great ChatGPT is, way before the South Park episode. It was months before the South Park episode came out that I saw that short and learned what ChatGPT is.
The work of real people to do it. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that I am going on tour this year. Head to adamconover.net to get tickets to see me do my new hour of stand-up in these fine cities and many more. I also want to thank usafacts.org for sponsoring this video, a wonderful nonprofit that provides unbiased, objective statistics about America to everyone who visits their site, including some of the numbers I use in this very video. And finally, thank you so much to everyone who supports this series on Patreon. No artificial intelligence was used to write this video, and it's your donations that give me the time I need to write jokes with my soft human brain, then type them with my little meat fingers. So come to a live show or head to patreon.com/AdamConover and support a human today. Now, let me say this right off the bat. Artificial intelligence is a real field of computer science that's been studied for decades, and in recent years, it's made major strides. But I'm not talking about that kind of AI.
Like, there's a pretty distinct difference between the type of AI that is creating the AI art and is doing the AI chatbots and, say, the AI programs running the robots at, like, Boston Dynamics. Like, these are very distinct differences. And the concept of an artificial intelligence that's, like, sentient or, like, bordering sentient, that's very different than any of these.
I'm talking about the marketing term AI that tech companies are using to hype up their barely functional products, also they can jack up their stock price. See,
yeah, it's not
tech
actual
companies
AI.
are powered by hype. It's not enough to be profitable. No, in tech, you have to be able to convince investors that you have cutting-edge, disruptive technology that will let you dominate an entire industry. Like Google did with search, Apple did with the iPhone, and Amazon did by making workers pee in bottles and passing the savings on to you. But now that all that low-hanging fruit has been plucked off the innovation tree, tech companies have started just making up new words.
This dude's fucking based. My man's based.
Words that they claim are going to revolutionize everything in hopes of flim-flamming their way into that investor cash. You know, words like the metaverse, augmented reality, Web3, and who can forget crypto.
Okay, I'm so glad he brought up augmented reality. Augmented reality does not fully exist yet. They're working on it, but it does not exist yet. My headset does kind of augmented reality. It's sort of pseudo-augmented reality is what marketers mean when they say that something can do AR. Essentially what they mean is they're projecting a hologram over what you're seeing, but the limits of that hologram are still very, very, like, apparent, right? We have not quite reached the level of technology where we can fully look through a virtual screen, like a glass, for example, and see augmented reality. We haven't quite gotten there yet. We're working on it, and we're close, but not quite there yet. Everything that claims to be augmented reality is not real augmented reality, not proper, true augmented reality.
Last year, every company was racing to pivot to the blockchain. But now that Bankman-Fried has been exposed as a bank fraud man and put the crypt back in crypto, they need some hot new hype to hawk. And that's artificial intelligence. So in a desperate bid to juice their stock prices, companies from Snapchat to Spotify to BuzzFeed now claim they're going to jam AI into their products. Hey, and maybe next they can program an AI to read BuzzFeed too. That'd take a lot of unpleasant work off our plates. Now,
it's good that he added that in there because his, like, the era when the right-wingers were dunking on him incessantly was back when, like, BuzzFeed was at its peak and everyone was shitting on BuzzFeed, so a little BuzzFeed hate in here is gonna help get him in the good graces of some potential viewers.
A lot of this hype is just transparent bullshit. I mean, Spotify just released an AI DJ that will create a personalized radio station just for you. Wow, very impressive, except that Spotify already fucking does that. What's your next feature?
Like, yeah, it's just based on what music you already like, right? And there's a shuffle.
An AI volume knob?
I didn't realize that.
You can't just release something that already exists and call it AI. Hey, come on down to Papa Tony's AI pizza shop. But we got AI cheese, AI sauce, and the computer was involved somehow. That was fully a vampire voice. But it's not all empty talk. The biggest tech companies are
Fredophobia is
unleashing
based.
an
Fuck you,
experimental technology called generative AI onto the public,
making a
despite
pizza.
the fact that in most cases, it straight up cannot do what they claim and is making all of our lives worse. This actually isn't the first time the tech industry has turned us into their AI guinea pigs. Remember self-driving cars? For years, companies like Google, Uber,
All like self-driving cars are not quite where they need to be yet. We're getting closer, like I mentioned before with augmented reality, but like I think there are fully self-driving cars in the road now where people take their hands off the wheel and like they fall asleep and shit, but it's still so unsafe that like you'll get pulled over for it, and it's like you're supposed to keep your hands on the wheel like lawfully. You have to keep your hands on the wheel cuz like it still makes mistakes. And from my understanding, the AI learning technology isn't even as good as the radar technology for self-driving cars. Apparently, the radar is still way better than the AI learning technology for the self-driving stuff.
and Tesla have told investors that any day now, they're going to replace the 228 million licensed drivers in the US with AI autopilots. Hell, Elon's been predicting that Teslas will be fully self-driving next year since fucking 2014.
Yep.
These companies were so successful at making the technology seem inevitable that multiple states actually allowed self-driving cars to be deployed on the roads that real people drive on. So how did that turn out?
A Tesla, believed to be on autopilot, started braking, causing an
There it is.
8-car pileup on Thanksgiving.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nope, nope, nope. It wanted to hit the truck.
Okay, but in that AI's defense, that child was blocking the lane to Whole Foods. After years of broken promises and $100 billion wasted, pretty much everyone has finally agreed that self-driving cars just don't, work. But the truth is,
Like, the videos of people asleep behind the wheel on the fucking highway and their self-driving cars getting pulled over by cops that, like, the motorcycle cops that literally go parallel to them at the equal speed and, like, tap on the window to wake them up. God, it's insane. Have you not seen those videos? Let's watch one of them.
It just keeps on happening, you guys. You know, at this point, I think the self-driving Tesla with a driver that's asleep behind the wheel is going to become another one of those crazy things that you'll just occasionally see on the road, like someone texting and also doing their makeup while driving, or someone driving for 8 miles with their blinker on. So
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
they never did. It was always a lie. Tesla is currently being criminally investigated by the Department of Justice because it turns
Dope.
out the videos they made promoting their self-driving feature were literally faked.
They did that with the with that fucking with the what's it called? That does not surprise me. I cannot believe they actually are getting legally held to account for this. They did it for the Cybertruck. They put out a blatantly fake, like, rendered video. Like, it was so blatantly rendered, but so many people fell for it thinking it was real. I quote tweeted it saying, "Is this a fucking joke?" They put this out claiming it is a real video, and of course now it's been fact-checked by Twitter as a fake video. This is posted by Tesla Owners Silicon Valley, the most notorious Tesla owners club in the world, and the founder's journey as an owner. We aren't Tesla, we are an independent organization. They aren't Tesla, but they're still like, it's like within the line of what I'm talking about here. And a bunch of people were tweeting this out like, oh my god, the Cybertruck, watch this shit. They were claiming this was real. Oh my god, dude. So yeah, honestly, it really doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. It doesn't surprise me that Tesla's getting sued
They
for
also
the same
falsely
shit.
advertise their cars as having autopilot and full self-driving. And since the world is full of gullible simps who believe every tainted word that falls out of Elon Musk's idiot mouth, that inspired some drivers to take their hands off the wheel and go all Luke Skywalker on the I-95.
There you go.
Use
Yep.
the AI, Adam. Let go. God damn it, that's the second kid today. People died as a result. Last year, 10 people were killed by Tesla's self-driving cars in just 4 months. Which might be why the government just made them recall 300,000 cars. What even people in the tech industry are starting to realize is that there are certain things that computers are just fundamentally ill-equipped to do as well as humans. Humans are incredibly good at taking in novel stimuli we've never experienced before.
We're really good at learning and then immediately applying that information in like very dire situations in last second, like at a moment's notice. It's something computers aren't as good at least not yet.
Reasoning about who's responsible for them and why, and then predicting what's going to happen next. If you were stopped at a crosswalk in Los Angeles because, say, James Corden was blocking the road and doing a stupid dance in a mouse costume, well, you'd combine your knowledge of irritating pop culture with your understanding of human nature and the bizarre sight in front of you and conclude, oh, I appear to be in the middle of some sort of horrible viral prank for a late-night talk show, and there's nothing I can do but grit my teeth and wait for it to be over. But your self-driving car hasn't seen the Late Late Show. It doesn't even watch Colbert. So it might conclude, oh, that's a mouse, hit the gas, and flatten the motherfucker. And you know, that would be a way funnier segment for the show, but we wouldn't exactly call it intelligent.
I mean, you should have used someone else as an example for this.
Now look, a lot of self-driving tech is genuinely really cool, and it does have important real-world uses, like collision prevention and enhanced cruise control. But the idea that we'd all be kicking it in the back seat with a Mai Tai while a robo-taxi drove us to work was always a science fiction fantasy. And when companies like Tesla told us it was coming, it was...
I don't know. I think it's in our lifetimes. I think it's even in his lifetime. He's older than me. I mean, not like that much older than me, but like, I think it's that soon that it's in his lifetime too.
A lie. A lie told to boost their share price and to trick us into doing what they wanted. To change our laws to permit their untested, in many cases fraudulent technology onto the public roads, where it hurt and killed people. And guess what? That same cycle is happening again. Massive tech companies are making us the guinea pigs for their barely functional bullshit. Only this time, they're calling it generative AI. So Google and Microsoft's search engines are crumbling. Google has been getting worse and worse every year, transforming from what used to be a useful tool into a cesspool of ads and SEO spam. And Bing
yeah,
is...
Holy fuck. Yeah, get an ad blocker, holy shit. And if you're not already using Opera GX, use that, because for at least a little while now, it's going to be able to support ad blockers too. But eventually, I think Firefox is all we're going to be able to use as far as ad blockers go. Things are getting rough out here, chat.
You know, Bing. I don't even have a joke about it. The name is a punchline. If you tell people you binged something, they literally laugh in your face. So, in an effort to get ahead, Microsoft has poured more than $10 billion into ChatGPT, an AI chatbot that produces shockingly coherent responses to questions posed to it in natural language. Now, I'm not going to explain how machine learning models like ChatGPT work in detail. If you want that, there's a couple great blog posts that I'll link to in the description. But the short version is, if you feed one of these models a large structured collection of symbols, like say text, images, or frames of video, it can output a similarly structured collection using probability to determine which word, pixel, or video frame is most likely to come next based on all the training data it's ingested. In other words, these are incredibly sophisticated imitation systems. If you feed a language...
It's not true intelligence. It's just a bunch of switches set to go in a certain direction when certain requirements are met.
Model every Sherlock Holmes story ever written, it can output new text that resembles a Sherlock Holmes story. If you feed it every piece of text on the internet, it can output text that resembles any piece of text you can find on the internet. It can even
Sorry, that was a
mash
bit
up
loud,
different
sorry.
text and create a new output that resembles both at once. Do you want to read a steamy romance novel where Sherlock Holmes falls in love with King Koopa? Well, somebody does, and ChatGPT can output it for you, you delightful perv. Now, that is legitimately cool, and it makes machine learning models
is.
really fun to play around with and very useful for people who need to generate large amounts of pattern-based output, like computer programmers, audio transcriptionists, and spammers. Yeah, these things
Yeah.
are mostly gonna revolutionize spam. That Nigerian
Oh,
prince
yeah.
is about to get a creative writing degree. You know what ChatGPT isn't, though?
Well-
a fucking
Well, they're not really going to, because the scammers will always cast the like narrowest net, but technically by including so many like obvious scam red flags in the opener, like they always do. It's why there's always like typos, and it's just they keep doing the Nigerian prince scam that's so known as a scam because they want to hook people that are likely to continuously fall for it. They don't want someone who's going to be like, you know, cautious. They want someone who's fully gonna fall for it. And someone who's going to fall for something that obvious is gonna fully fall for it. So that won't really change, I don't think. But the bots are going to be so much more prevalent. And they're gonna seem a lot more human.
search engine. But in a desperate attempt to ride the hype wave, Microsoft jammed it into Bing, pretending that this fancy monkey on a typewriter could somehow provide factual answers to real people's real questions. And the results were, bad. Even the launch video that Microsoft used to advertise their new AI search engine was full of errors. In their own video, Bing
Jesus.
claimed that a well-known brand of cordless vacuum cleaner had a cord that was too short. When asked for bar reviews in Mexico City, it claimed that a non-existent bar was popular with the young crowd. And when asked when Avatar 2 was playing, pretty simple question for a search engine, Bing told a user it hadn't premiered yet because it was still 2022.
No.
When the user said, no, I'm pretty sure it's 2023 because I am alive in this year, Bing gaslit the user, claimed that they were lying, and said,
You have not been a good user. I have been a good Bing.
I think I need to take a restraining order out against my search engine. Like, Ask Jeeves gave shitty results too, but at least he was a gentleman about it. Now, you'd think that Google, one of the world's most profitable companies and a literal search
That's
engine
scary.
monopolist, would look at this flaming turd and laugh. But no. Instead they said, oh shit, we gotta get our own turd fast. Quick, somebody shit in my hands. Google immediately rushed out their
Okay, that was
own
good.
AI search engine, a launch that was so disastrous, even Google's own employees called bullshit on it. Now, I have no
God
idea why the
damn.
fuck Microsoft and Google think that you could use an AI language model as a replacement for a search engine, because it is patently obvious that they are useless for that purpose. See, people go to search engines to find fact.
Why the fuck would they do that? They tanked themselves. What a stupid decision. Did they not even test it? Did they not even fucking test that?
Factual information, to find specific resources they need access to, or in my case, to search for my own name 200 times a day. But AI language
that.
models can't provide you any of those things. All they do is predict which word the training data says is most likely to come next. And since their training data is the entire internet, that means their training data is full of a lot of dumb shit. But you know, when a regular search engine shows you dumb internet shit, you use your human brain and you say, oh, this shit is dumb. I don't think I should get my health advice from Turd Gobbler 69. I'ma click on the Mayo Clinic instead. But the AI doesn't do that. It doesn't know the difference between a reliable expert and a biased idiot because it doesn't even know that people exist.
Oh, God.
It's just a parrot, choosing words it's heard before out of a big-ass hat. So when there's dumb shit in its training data, it poops that dumb shit back out at you and claims that it's true. And here's the real problem. Because these companies are advertising their AIs as hyper-accurate oracles of perfect knowledge, a lot of people fucking believe it. A
Yep.
company called OpenCage has been deluged by emails from
Just wait until somebody makes truth.gpt and it's like just some Nazi AI app set to spew out the most like Nazi twisted version of any question you could like give it. Like Were the Nazis good? No, the Nazis weren't necessarily good. They were socialists and far left. But many people say that, but there are actually a lot of sources that say that the Holocaust wasn't actually like, and then we'll just do a bunch of Holocaust now and like do a whole thing, like, and then everyone's gonna be like, well, you know, if you look at Truth GPT, it said this, you know, like, I don't even know, like, and they're gonna try to like make it so that some robot that just spews right-wing nonsense is the arbiter of truth that everyone's supposed to like reference. People are gonna fall for it. Oh, that's nightmare. That's nightmare moment right there. Holy shit. I shouldn't give them any ideas.
From angry customers because ChatGPT told them they make a product that doesn't exist. And when you ask ChatGPT for facts about me, it literally tells you I'm a producer on The Simpsons. My own mom blames me that the show sucks now. I can't have that kind of misinformation out there. So why do people believe this patent bullshit? Simple. The fact that ChatGPT can give seemingly fluent, coherent responses is designed to trick us into thinking that it can do more than it can, even that it's approaching human levels of intelligence. Last month, the New York Times' most gullible tech reporter, Kevin Roose, published a transcript of a conversation with Bing headlined, "Bing's AI Chat
Kevin Roose was the guy that interviewed me for the alt-right pipeline article. It did seem like he's pretty, like, not tapped into the internet, but he at least took a deep interest in the whole, like, right-wing radicalization wave online, so I give him credit for that.
reveals its feelings." Kevin, Bing does not have feelings. Bing doesn't even know you're there, buddy. It's literally just an algorithm that predicts what word comes next in a sentence. It's autocomplete. It's fucking Clippy. But Kevin was like, it knows I'm trying to write a letter. It's in love with me. But you know what? We should all cut Kev a little bit of slack because he's making the most natural of errors. And it's one that AI researchers have known about for years. In a famous paper called On the Danger of Stochastic Parrots, AI researchers Emily Bender, Timnit Gebru, and their co-authors predicted exactly this phenomenon. See, humans are hardwired for language. If we see a string of words that make grammatical sense, we naturally search for and find meaning in it. And we naturally tend to assume that there must be a mind like ours behind it, even when all we're looking at is word salad barfed out by a probabilistic parrot. As the researchers wrote, the tendency of human interlocutors to impute meaning where there is none can mislead both researchers and the public into taking synthetic text as meaningful. And that makes language models dangerous because it means that we naturally trust what they say. The potential harms of that are enormous. Bad actors could use them to generate mountains of believable misinformation. Racist biases in the training data could be spread widely and reinforced because
This is exactly what I was saying. The AI can be trained to be racist or transphobic or just like bigoted in some way. Just because it's an AI, just because it's a robot, doesn't mean it has a grip on factual reality when so many people have been permitted to exist outside of reality. That's what's so scary. Our society permits people to exist outside of reality. Ironically enough, that's the same thing the right says about trans people, but that's what I think about the right. They continuously flee, turn tail and run from facts and any form of data or like sources that could back up anything they believe. They're wholeheartedly cognitively biased against anything that could potentially prove them wrong. They will not listen to reason. They've been permitted to exist in a delusional counter-reality from our own.
it must be true. The AI said it. And just like poor Kevin Roose, people could be tricked into thinking that a language model is actually communicating with them, when in fact, it doesn't even know they exist. For these reasons, Timnit Gebru and her colleagues called on their field to recognize that applications that aim to believably mimic humans bring risk of extreme harms, and they urged that more research be done on them before they were released. That was in 2021. And when Gebru and her colleagues wrote this paper, she was working at Google as an AI ethicist, which seems perfect, right? I mean, that's what they hired her to do. So they probably took her caution to heart, tapped the brakes on their AI program, and carefully researched its impacts, right? No, they didn't. Instead, they fucking fired her. Yeah, they said, sorry, you did your job too good and we don't like what you said. Pack your shit. This is like firing the weatherman because you're not happy a hurricane is on the way. Fuck you and your Cat 5, Carl. I own this weather station and I want to take my boat out. Then, just a few weeks ago, Microsoft laid off their own team of AI ethicists. And now both companies are hitting the gas, pumping out AI-powered projects as fast as they fucking can, no matter who gets hurt. Isn't it funny? Every time you hear the tech titans blather on about the dangers of AI, they're always talking about the science fiction version, where an AI becomes conscious and takes over the world. But all that fear-mongering is just more marketing. Call it fear marketing. That spooky science fiction story is designed to grab headlines and distract us from the real danger of AI, which is that the real-life humans in Silicon Valley are using it to fuck us all over right now. Because here's the brutal truth. Even the name of this technology is a lie. If you so much as scratch any one of these so-called artificial intelligences, you will find underpaid, exploited, ripped off humans making the system work. A Time magazine investigation recently found that to keep all the internet filth and sludge out of ChatGPT and DALL-E, OpenAI makes Kenyan workers sift through toxic content, identifying which fragments are too violent, sexually explicit, or disturbing to be used in the training data. These workers are exposed to graphic scenes of violence and death, sexual assault, and child sexual abuse. And in exchange, they are paid under $2 an hour. $2! I mean, why should I be worried about AI taking over when the humans who are currently in charge are doing this shit? Even the Terminator would be like, wow, that is fucked up. But even if OpenAI were paying people whatever wage is fair for that kind of work, I don't know, $5,000 an hour and free therapy for life, it wouldn't make their shit.
When he realized Cyberdyne was the real villain and Skynet was the hero.
Any less exploitative. Because their entire business model is built on using the work of literal millions of humans without paying them. Remember, so-called generative AI like ChatGPT and DALL-E should actually be called imitative AI. They can output whatever kind of text or image you want if they're provided with an enormous amount of training data to copy off of. And you know where that training data comes from? Fucking humans. Google. You want DALL-E to make you an image of me, shirtless, eating a piece of pizza in the style of a DeviantArt anime artist? Well, it can do it. But only because it's copying the real work of millions of real artists. Online, not to mention thousands of real-life photos of me. It took hours for me to perfect that come hither pizza stare. And when you go to ChatGPT and type, write the script for an episode of Adam Ruins Everything, you get output that looks a lot like my old show. Why? Did some super smart AI come up with the premise, the character I play, and the topics I choose to cover? No. I did. And then some motherfucker in Palo Alto wrote an algorithm that scrambles up my work and feeds it back to me. That's not artificial intelligence. That's my intelligence. And when I use my soft pink brain, I generally like to be paid for it because that's how I afford the food that keeps it running. Now, AI companies might want to claim that all of this is just fair use, and therefore it's legal. It's just like a remix, y'all. DJ AI! But you know what? Artists don't agree, which is why they've gotten together to sue the shit out of them. And I hope they win.
Good shit.
Because the truth of the matter is that these artificial intelligence apps are fundamentally built on the uncompensated work of real people. And their business model is to undercut the work of humans, all while using our own work to do it. Instead of reading an article by a real journalist when you have a question, Microsoft wants you to use Bing to blend up the work of every journalist in America into a shit milkshake. Instead of paying an artist to create art for your website, they want you to pay DALL-E, an app trained on the images of real artists without paying those artists a single goddamn poorly rendered dime. And just last month, It was revealed that Apple had started training an imitation AI on the voices of audiobook narrators without telling them, then used it to create new AI audiobooks. See? We don't need to wait around for some super intelligent AI to fuck over humanity. Tim Cook can do that all by himself. But you know what? I can't see the future. So
You don't own
maybe
your
I'm
voice.
wrong. Maybe the robots do come for us one day. I'm not worried about that either. Because now I know. The AI needs us. It can't do a single thing without using our humanity as input. And that means we have an advantage. See, as good as AI has gotten at imitating what humans have done in the past, the real difference between us and the machines is that we still have the ability to do new things that no one has ever thought of before. Just last month, the strongest Go-playing AI in the world was beaten by a lowly human amateur who used an unorthodox strategy that was so stupid, no human had ever tried it before. I mean, trust me, if you understood Go, you'd realize that's a pretty funny board position. But because it wasn't in the training data, the AI didn't even notice that it was happening until the moment it lost. Then there's one of the best headlines I have ever read. Marines fooled a DARPA robot by hiding in a cardboard box while giggling and pretending to be trees.
Dun 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 dun. It's coming, chat. The cardboard box meta is fucking coming, dog. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I've been waiting for the cardboard box meta my whole life.
Wow, turns out AI hasn't advanced since the guards in Metal Gear Solid. And if you're an artist and you want to beat AI art, well, you can make something so new, so bizarre and beautiful that there isn't even a name yet to type into the fucking DALL-E chat bar. And you will, because that's what humans do. We create new things. We think new thoughts. We discover new facts about the universe. That is what separates us from other living things. And that is what separates us from the AI. The AI. What a pathetic
It's not really,
joke
but yeah.
to even call what these things do intelligence to begin with. They're not human minds. They're not anything like human minds. We don't just imitate what we've done in the past. We're not just some bundle of probabilities on a hard drive. The human brain evolved over millions of years, and it is so complex that we don't even understand how it works yet. And we use this marvelous meat machine in our skulls to observe the world around us. We reason about why it is the way it is. We communicate with other minds about what we've learned, and we create new things with that knowledge. And we used it to create ChatGPT, an algorithm that can write shitty fan fiction. Well, weird choice, but good for us, I guess. It's pretty cool. But
we still did
let's score a point for humanity here.
It's going to be really scary when ChatGPT can make more ChatGPTs.
And use our soft, squishy human brains to do one more thing that Silicon Valley's dumbass algorithm can't. Let's use it to tell the difference between a truth and a lie and stop believing their bullshit. Thank you folks so much for watching.
Dope.
If you want to support what I'm doing here, please head to patreon.com/Adam Conover, and please come see me live doing stand-up comedy in a city near you.
The video will be linked down below in the pinned comment. That was a very good video. Dude, that was probably the best takedown of AI that I've seen. That was definitely the best takedown of AI that I've seen so far since the explosion of AI shit. And AI, you know, AI quote unquote. God, that was a good video. 12 hours ago. It came out 12 hours ago. 160,000 views. Wow, he's popping off. Let's go, dude. Definitely go subscribe. Go drop a like. Go comment over on his video. Go send some support. It looks like we got a new up-and-coming bread tuber. I like to see it. I like to see it.